My name is Xavier Adams, and this is my presentation that I'll be calling The True Horror, an examination of Black representation throughout horror movie history. Spoiler warning for all mentioned films. First, in order to properly understand the context of Black horror films, I think it's important to look back a little bit at the history of Black cinema. Horror as a genre has existed for almost as long as storytelling has been around, and in regards to filmmaking, it has existed for nearly over a century now. Black involvement in the horror genre and throughout all of early film history was very scarce, as in not only American filmmaking, but all over the world, race relations had a deep negative effect. And it wouldn't be until 1940 that the film called Son of Ngagi would release, which was written by Spencer Williams Jr., a Black actor and filmmaker who plays a vital role in the history of Black filmmaking and acting across all genres, not just horror. He wrote the film, which is widely considered today to be one of the very first horror movies that featured an all-Black cast. It was a groundbreaking achievement that unfortunately would be rarely repeated until the mid to late 20th century. Which brings us to the first film and era that will be used to examine the evolution of Black representation in horror, which is Blackula and the film era known as Blaxploitation. As the title suggests, Blackula is a story about a Black Dracula. The film follows in the groundbreaking steps of its predecessors by being widely considered the first Black on-screen horror villain. Films like Blackula from this era showcase some of the first instances of true Black character agency. Films were finally being made to appeal directly to Black audiences, and they often made social commentary and critiques of race relations, which still would be a consistent contention in filmmaking and general society. This era of Black filmmaking would still face a lot of fair criticisms from groups like the NAACP, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and more, that believed the films were reinforcing harmful and negative stereotypes of Black people. An example of creative social commentary on race relations is a scene from the film in which the original Dracula character bites and infects the African prince Mamuwalde, played by William Marshall. Mamuwalde and his wife Luva were at Dracula's castle in an attempt to win his support over and the ceasing of the African slave trade. When Dracula denies his support and even makes passing comments at Mamuwalde's wife, things escalate, and Dracula ends up infecting Mamuwalde with the vampiric disease and curses him to be the titular villain Blackula. While the scene itself can be perceived as a simple villain origin story, many people believe Dracula's curse to be also an allusion to the blight that white Europeans forced upon Africans for centuries. It's a scene that gains almost an entirely new level of eeriness when you think about the troubling conditions many Black Americans find themselves in today.
You shall pay, Black Prince. I shall place a curse of suffering on you that will doom you to a living hell. A hunger, a wild, gnawing, animal hunger will grow in you. A hunger for human blood. Here you will starve for an eternity, torn by an unquenchable lust. I curse you with my name. You shall be Blackula, a vampire, like myself, a living fiend. You will be doomed never to know that sweet blood which will become your only desire. You will watch, helpless and dying, until the black flesh rots from your bones. Listen for his cries. They will comfort you until your death.
The next scene is one that can be attributed to the criticisms that the film often faces. In the scene, we witness Blackula's first attack, which happens to be against a helpless and assumed homosexual couple. Nothing in the film explicitly states the pair's relationship, but derogatory slurs and comments made by various characters throughout the film suggest their relationship and acts as a blemish on the film's overall social critique. As the film was made to be potentially uplifting and representative to one specific group, it can also be demoralizing and harmful to others.
Put it up here. Oh, just a second, please. Stop it. Dizzy. Please. Stop that whining. Look at... Oh, it's tight. Look, I'm not a nurse, you know. All right? Would you stop it, please? I'll take care of it. It's twisted. Look, I'll take care of it. I'm going to bleed to death. You're not going to bleed. You're going to bleed to death if you don't keep your mouth shut. Keep quiet. Look, you're making me nervous. Bobby, I'll die. I'm bleeding to death. Would you stop it, please? Oh, Charles, be still. Stop. What's wrong with you? Seeping through. Bobby! No!
This idea of the film being groundbreaking as a representation of black character agency and power, while also being potentially harmful and misrepresentative of the same group, I think ties in well to the ideas of the other, as presented by the renowned sociologist Stuart Hall. Hall uses the example of the 1988 men's 100-meter Olympic race, which saw a moment of great glory for black representation, as all Olympic runners in the photo were black men, showcasing their talents on a stage that was not always accepting of them. The winner of the original race in the photo, Ben Johnson, acts as a great contention for many people, however. After the race concluded, it was found later that Johnson had been using performance-enhancing drugs, which caused him to be stripped of his gold medal and shunned from professional competition. This incident would be the overshadowing story of the event and created the unqualified triumph narrative that Stuart Hall speaks of. This relates back to Blackula in my eyes, as it raises the question, is black representation worth it if what is being represented is harmful or a form of unqualified triumph? Does the film see a level of immunity as being a product from a socially different time? Or was having black characters centered in a black story enough of a feat already? What future precedents does this set as representation for black communities? The end of the blaxploitation era is generally considered to be around the mid-1980s, when films like Coffee, Dolomite, and Superfly were left behind for a new era of films that were more diverse and accepting of black actors. Black films made for black people weren't exclusively finished, rather black actors and filmmakers had eventually succeeded enough to work their way into mainstream films and media. Black people were finally present in mainstream film and media, but their representations often failed to recapture the empowerment that blaxploitation sought to present. An example of this is from the 1989 film Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. The audience is presented with yet another helpless victim of the iconic horror villain Jason Voorhees. In this scene, the black character Julius actually has quite the valiant death. He's one of the few people from the entire franchise to have stood toe-to-toe with Jason Voorhees. Many people see this as a victory for black representation, as he didn't go down without a fight. Others, however, weren't impressed and saw Julius as just another helpless black victim to act as fodder to a story. It brings to question what effect did blaxploitation truly have if Hollywood just went right back to creating mindless Black Death. I will give a graphic warning. If you're the squeamish type, this scene might be a little bit uncomfortable for you.
This is it. Your best shot. Motherfucker.
This finally brings us to the modern day and allows us to see where Black representation in horror has specifically led us. The poster child of modern Black horror has easily been the director Jordan Peele. His 2017 film Get Out was groundbreaking and record-shattering not only from a creative standpoint, but from an economic and public reception standpoint as well. The film follows a Black man named Chris who is going to visit his white girlfriend Rose's family in upstate New York. Despite warnings from his Black friend Rod to not go in that house, Chris visits the family and down the line discovers that the family is participating in a form of modern-day slavery by taking over Black bodies and replacing them with a white consciousness. As the Professor David Galata puts it, the film is placed within the traditions of African-American humor and satire in order to show how the film's comic elements work in conjunction with its horror tropes to establish an anti-racist critique. This juxtaposition of horror and humor helps to create a uniquely unnerving viewing experience where the audience can never feel safe even in their laughter. This dual register reflects the feelings of uneasiness and dread that many Black Americans have long felt, as moments of apparent levity or peace may be suddenly disrupted by forces of racist violence or oppression. Referring back to character agency, Get Out makes a direct attribution to the lack of agency or the taking of agency away from Black characters such as Julius from Friday the 13th, with the scene featuring the sunken place. While in the film, the sunken place is somewhere where the consciousness of the Black people whose bodies are being stolen goes, it is also easy to see how the sunken place represents the marginalization and powerlessness that Black people have been forced to experience for so long.
Tell me when you found it. Come here, Chris, look at me.
Found it.
Where was your mom?
She was coming home. She wasn't home.
From work? And what did you do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I just sat there.
You didn't call anyone?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I just thought that if I did, it'd make it real.
You're so scared. You think it was your fault? How do you feel now?
I can't move.
You can't move.
Why can't I move?
You're paralyzed. Just like that day when you did nothing. You did nothing. Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink. Now you're in the sunken place.
The final scene from Get Out that I would like to discuss is the ending. The end of the film, I find, is what truly makes the film groundbreaking and separates the black representation from now and in the past. In the final scene, when Chris is escaping the evil Armitage family, there is a sense that Chris isn't going to make it. He's on the brink of death and is fighting with Rose and other members of the family. What I find great about the ending is the plot twist of the possessed black servant, or slave, sacrificing himself, as well as Rod, Chris's best friend, being the ones to save Chris. Throughout so much of media and films featuring black characters, we see black characters either being first to die, a meaningless sacrifice to help a white protagonist, or suffer some sort of valiant hero's death. In this case, we see black people actually saving other black people. I think it is also worth noting that when the blue and red sirens appear, it's an incredible gasp for black audiences. I find it to be absolutely masterful work from Jordan Peele to take the pre-existing relationship that Black America has with the police and completely flip it on its head by being the savior of Chris. He perhaps does make the effort to intentionally note that Rod isn't police, he's TSA. Again, maybe another thing to note that it still wouldn't be the police to save a black man in need.
Get him, Grandpa.
Let me do it.
you. What are you doing? Help. 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 Help me.
Shit! Chris! I mean, I told you not to go in that house. How you find me? I'm TS motherfucking A. We handle shit. That's what we do. Consider this situation. Fucking handle.
After examining films from the past and modern day, we are now left with the question of what is to become of black representation, and specifically representation in black horror. Will we continue to follow in the steps of William Crane and Jordan Peele and create films that give black people a true sense of character agency and purpose? Or will the black guy just continue to die first? Thank you.